Golf News RI presents the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Golf Dudes Podcast. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's having a great week and looking forward to the weekend of nothingness because there are no sports this weekend. Literally, we were just talking about this before we started recording. But anyway, hope everyone's having a great day, great week. Mr. Rich, how are you doing today, buddy boy?
We're in it. We're in the dog days of winter. I got my round in on Sunday, which was great. But now we're gonna be feeling it this weekend. No sports, and it's supposed to be brutally cold. So yeah, we gotta get through this because it'll be back in the 40s next week, which will be nice.
How did your round go on Sunday?
Not bad. Couldn't get off the tee. I was tight. I was pounding my irons.
How many layers did you wear? I know it wasn't that cold.
No, it was nice. It was like the first 4 holes the sun was out, and then it started getting cloudy and a little bit windy. I wore a collared shirt, and I started out with a sweatshirt, but then I changed to like a windbreaker, like a quarter zip windbreaker for the rest of the day. It got a little bit chilly at the end. We ended up playing 18, but around like 1 o'clock because we didn't tee off till like 9:40 or 10 o'clock. It definitely got a little bit chilly on the last couple holes, but it wasn't bad. Course is in good shape. Obviously, the putt you can't really putt because there's shit all over the greens. But yeah, not bad. If I have to say, I probably like high 80s, which isn't bad. Yeah, it was just good to get out there, get out of the house. I mean, I've spent the past 6 or 7, 8 Sundays in the house, which was awful. So it's good to split it up a little bit.
Absolutely. I haven't played around since November, but yeah, but there's certainly been some opportunities and some nice days, and so that's good. We should tell you that the Golf Dudes Podcast is presented by Lynx Drinks. Lynx Drinks is best known for their transfusion in a can. Transfusion, of course, is vodka, ginger ale, and grape juice, all mixed up into one refreshing beverage. Of course, Lynx Drinks has 2 other flavors: the front 9 and the back 9, or the back 9 and the front 9, whichever you prefer. And so check those flavors out at country clubs and liquor stores near you. They had a successful week down at the big PGA show down in Florida. So congrats to them on their week. And also congrats to our friends at Pinned Golf, who also had a big week down there from what I hear. So congrats to all of them. And we thank Lynx Drinks, of course, for their support of the Golf News Podcast, streaming on the Golf News RI Podcast Network, which you can also find now on Apple and Spotify. So thanks to everybody for listening to the audio versions of the podcast. I know that's a lot easier for people when they're driving in their car. Just turn the podcast on, whatever it is, whether it's us or the Expand Your Brand podcast, which they had a big episode yesterday. So super exciting stuff. And again, thanks to everybody for their support. A big week, busy week, content-wise and news-wise for the golf world, the Ryland golf world anyway. The tournament schedule is out, and that has caused a lot of reaction among locals and amateur golfers. First, we broke on Sunday that the Rhode Island Open is going to be played in Connecticut at Connecticut National.
Makes sense, right?
So there was that. So that story has done dozens and dozens of comments. Sparked tons of conversation about local clubs hosting tournaments and stepping up to host tournaments. People were mad.
Hasn't Connecticut National done that before? Stepped up and hosted a
probably. Well, Connecticut National is a Riga member club because it's so close.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Just like Ledgemont is, just like
that makes sense.
Crestwood is. And I've never been to Connecticut National. I hear it's very nice.
Oh, it is. It's nice. It's a nice track.
And I don't think, and nobody was dumping on Connecticut National. That wasn't the point. It's just people were mad about
Rhode Island
Open being held in Connecticut.
Of all friggin' tournaments too. It has it in the name.
It's the principle of the thing. So that
Crazy.
generated tons of comments on our Facebook post, on my personal Facebook post, and on the Golf News RI page. And it sparked great conversation. Not that I agree with everything everybody said necessarily, but it was great conversation back and forth to figure out what a fix is to this problem. And then so that was that. That's still going on. We got comments again, today about it. Or on that post. And that was from Sunday. It's now Thursday. So that's still going on. And then on Wednesday, the Rhode Island Golf Association released the tournament schedule for the year. The women's tournament schedule looks pretty good. As we reported first, the women's am is going to be at Kirkbride, which is exciting, mostly for me. So I roll right out of bed and walk down the street. And then they have a couple other tournaments. They have a tournament at Wanamoyset and a couple of different places. So the women's schedule looks exciting. That looks pretty complete. Then you go to the men's side, and half of the schedule is TBD. So right now they don't have a place for the Rhode Island 4-ball, and they have the junior am is still in flux once again, just like it was last year. The first rounds are played. The qualifier, stroke play qualifier, in round one is currently to be determined. And then the second round and the rest of the tournament is going to be played at, I can't think of the name. Maybe Ledgemont. But either way, so lots of TBDs, and so that was unfortunate. I really think, and from what I'm told, and people I've talked to over the last few days, including some of the top amateurs in the state, and it's just a issue where local clubs don't necessarily want to step up and host these tournaments. And Riga's, I don't know the politics of it all, of course, but that seems like an issue. And there's numerous tournaments. If you looked at the actual schedule, there's numerous tournaments on the men's side that say TBD, and I'm sure they'll be fixed. Perhaps they have courses in mind, but that seems like an issue, and it's an issue that was brought to light on our Facebook page first, through the Connecticut National story, and now it's in the limelight of, okay, what's going on here? What's the issue? I mean, obviously, all these clubs are filled to the brim with members, right? I mean, tee times are full, and obviously these clubs aren't necessarily getting anything out of hosting these tournaments because no one's going to watch. Obviously, the players aren't necessarily drinking because they're playing real golf.
Yeah, and there's no fans going there to watch.
So I don't know. I don't know. That's a solution for it. Golf News Ride would love to help be part of a solution if there is one. Again, I don't know the politics of it, so I don't want to necessarily throw people under the bus here. But it was pretty.
I'm fairly certain that was one of the reasons why Riga put in a bid for Triggs.
For sure, absolutely.
So that they could have one course they could depend on and rely on, a good course. Triggs is a very good course.
Yeah.
In shape all the time, fantastic course. But that was the main reason behind Riga putting a bid in, was so that they could have one standalone course that they could fall back to if shit hits the fan like it is right now. So.
And by the way, Triggs wasn't on the schedule either, which goes back to a story that I was curious about going through the bidding process, as if that relationship is gonna, kind of fall apart. So I don't know if that's why they're not on the schedule. I know Triggs just hosted the rather mid-am last year that Larry LaFauci won. So they did just host a tournament. And I know I'm sure they have the weeklies and stuff of that nature. So perhaps that was one other reason, but Triggs wasn't on the schedule for those of you that are interested in that side of the story. So lots of questions with the scheduling. Obviously, there's still time. It's only February. To be honest, I'm surprised that they put the schedule out with that many blank spaces. I don't know why. I mean,
maybe just the dates. Maybe they just want the dates so people can get out of work and school or whatever.
Right. And
whatever's happening.
I think players have to register soon, so that was probably part of it as well. But there's so many.
I would love to get my tournament schedule. I would love to get my tournament schedule months in advance, so I could just send the whole lot to Scott and be done with it. These are the days we need to prepare for.
That's definitely part of it, and I'm sure they, most of the major tournaments they have filled. Obviously, the stroke play, things at Valley. Kirkbride is hosting a U.S. Open qualifier again. in May, so that's going to be really exciting. I had a ton of fun at that last year. It took forever, but I had tons of fun anyway. And then the Rhode Island Amateur is going to be at Montauk, so another drive. I think they still have spots for the mid-am, and they're looking for a 4-ball. I think the U.S. 4-ball qualifiers at Point Judith, which is pretty nice. The U.S. Amateur 4-ball thing, and then there's no U.S. Amateur qualifier yet, but that's through the USGA though. I think the USGA announces that stuff, and they kind of work with Riga through the clubs. So I'm not sure that's necessarily a Riga thing. As far as those though, I think that comes from the USGA, because the USGA announced last week that Kirkbride was hosting the local qualifier here. I got that from the USGA, so I think that's the US stuff goes through the USGA. That's my understanding of it. So that was the big news of the week. Lots of questions. Again, tons of interaction on our page, which has been great. I've obviously been monitoring the comments just to make sure no one says anything, really bad, but no one has, obviously. It's been a great conversation. It's sparked great conversation, and I don't know what will come with it, but that certainly seems to be an issue at the moment. That local courses not necessarily stepping up to host tournaments or support the Rhode Island Golf Association. So I don't know necessarily the solution. I don't know the politics of it, but that is the issue that golf is dealing with in Rhode Island. So that is that. That's the biggest story of the day. The other story, Davis Chatfield is in the Korn Ferry Tour today, and he's currently not in good shape. In Panama, he's tied for 97th at 6 over par. Not great, Jim. Hopefully he turns around this.
Not great, Jim.
And hope he turns around in the second round. Obviously, his first round, not great. I don't know how tough the courses are or whatever, but so hopefully he turns around. He still has 5 more tournaments to go. There's 8 tournament exemptions. So the struggles and the battle continues, and obviously, hey, no one said it was going to be easy. And it isn't. But we'll keep track of his round. It's cool to see Patrick play last week at Torrey Pines. He missed the cut. The second round, they had tons of wind, I guess, and that really messed him up on the north course at Torrey Pines. But he played well in the first day. He was on TV a bunch, which was cool. So good for him. And of course, college golf season starts shortly. So that's exciting. They already started. They had the Southwest Intercollegiate on Golf Channel this past week, or Southwest Invitational. Yeah. Golf. People are golfing somewhere, Rich. We're just not golfing just yet.
We should move our headquarters down south for the winter.
Hey, I'm in.
We'll join what's his face, Bacon and
John O'Clair.
Yeah, the O'Clairs.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we are on a local front. But yeah, so on kind of the PGA Tour side of things, obviously Liv is getting started in like a week or two. So that'd be interesting to see what they look like. I know Carlos Ortiz just joined them. He's going to be on with Joaquin Neiman and that team. And then on PGA Tour, they're at Pebble Beach this week. It's always cool to watch. Not that it's a great field. I mean, Spieth is playing, but it's always cool to watch just to see Pebble Beach and the sights and sounds of it. My dad just played there like 2 weeks ago, so so they survived that major storm. So and then the big news this morning broke by Golf Week that the WGC Match Play Championship is not going to be at Austin Country Club anymore down in Texas. And now I guess according to Golf Week, that tournament's in trouble as far as not even being in existence anymore. So that'd be too bad. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed that tournament. The match play portion of it was different.
Oh, the match play was great.
It was different. It was not something that you see all the time. So hopefully they find a place to host that tournament. TPC Boston would be a great place to host.
Right.
But I always enjoyed that tournament. Again, just it was different. It wasn't the regular stroke play. It was match play. It was, the bracket, whole thing. So
Yep.
we'll see what comes up with that. But that's kind of the golf world in summary, pretty much. As we move through like you said, the dog days of winter here, about a month left of winter. You and I have played at least 1 or 2 rounds in March every year. So hopefully,
Yeah, there's always that 2 week stretch or like 1 week stretch where it's like 55 or 60 every year. So that'll be nice if we can. Like I said, it's supposed to be absolute shit on Saturday, but it's supposed to be like 43 Sunday, and then it stays steady in the. I think it's supposed to be like 40, like 48 on Tuesday or Wednesday. Like it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. This is probably one of the craziest winters I've been part of.
mm-hmm. But the good news is there's been no snow yet.
Oh, please.
So that's good.
Like I'll take the cold. I'll take the cold temperatures. Just don't give me any freaking snow, please.
As long as it continues to be little to no snow,
yeah,
that'd be good. So that's where we're going.
I'm definitely fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, early Super Bowl picks or thoughts on last weekend.
Last weekend I thought. Well,
first off, did you see what Arian Foster said to Barstool about the NFL being rigged?
Yeah, that was silly.
But it was just like the ending to that Chiefs game. I mean, that fourth quarter was like that whole game was atrocious by the refs. Just terrible.
Like, yeah, I mean, it was a bad weekend for the refs. You had the Celtics Lakers call
where dude, please.
And then he acted like a moron after that. But
God,
and then you had the football games that were all a mess. And obviously the 49ers can't keep a quarterback healthy. So I don't know what they're doing or what, but every quarterback they have gets hurt. The kid they brought in, Josh Johnson, he's been in the league for 13 years. He literally had no idea what he was doing, which was kind of embarrassing on his part. And then
you had Jimmy G with his shit-eating grin on the sidelines. You see that? Yeah, he was just sitting there like this.
He's like, "Yes, the season's over. I can move on now."
He was supposed to play in that game too.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back for that game, but I think he said, "You know what? You guys had a better chance of losing without me." Right? Maybe the Bucs will sign him. I don't know if they're looking to rebuild or not, but
they got rid of what's his face. They don't have an OC anymore.
Yeah, Leftwich.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe the Patriots will bring him back. You never know. Jimmy G.
Right. Gonna need something.
And then the Chiefs game. Yeah, I mean the refs. The 2 calls I didn't understand were how the Chiefs got like multiple third downs and not 3rd and 9. Because I don't know what happened there. And then the play where the guy reaches over to try to get the first down, he clearly doesn't get it.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Somehow that call is overturned and he gets it. So those are the 2 calls I didn't understand. I thought the push on Mahomes was obviously it was a penalty.
Oh, that was just.
I mean, you can't. It sucks, but you can't do that.
I mean, he was out of bounds by like 2 feet before he even got touched. I'm like, what the?
You can't do that.
What are you doing, dude?
It sucked that that's how the game ended, but I mean, anybody can put in on that call. I mean, if that was Brady, you would have wanted that call. If that was Mac Jones, you would want that call.
He was so out of bounds. It was more surprising than anything. I wasn't mad that I don't think anybody was mad that it was called a penalty. I think people were surprised that it happened, because he was so far out of bounds.
Yeah, but then you also look at it too, and they made I'm not, I'm not taking credit for this, but on the radio they were saying on Sports Talk Radio they were saying that if you're Zach Taylor with the Bengals, why would you punt right down the middle? Why wouldn't you kick that ball to the sidelines? Because remember that whoever returns for the Chiefs, I don't know the guy's name, but whoever returns it for the Chiefs, he ran like 25, 30 yards back.
Yeah.
So right there, you already set up Mahomes to do something.
Yeah.
Why would like they said on the radio, why wouldn't you kick that ball to the sideline and just let them start from their own, 20-yard line, whatever. I don't know what the yardages were,
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
was, instead of just giving them like a free return. So that was a coaching second guess. And then Burrow, to be fair, he had the ball and a chance to go down the field and score. He had 3rd and 3, and he throws a deep bomb down the right side, and it's deflected and it's picked off. I never understood why quarterbacks do that. Like, why don't you just pick up the yardage?
I know.
Even
Yeah,
Brady,
he had the yards. He threw it right at the line of scrimmage. Like, dude, you got like 20 yards of green in front of you. Like,
yeah,
go.
that too. So I never understood why quarterbacks do that. Why they throw it deep down the field when you just need to pick up 3 or 4 yards. I know obviously it's one thing. It was 3rd and 10, or 3rd and obviously that's different. But just pick up the yardage and move the ball forward. So obviously the refs were bad, but the Bengals still had a chance to.
Oh no, they did it to themselves. But it pains me to say this. I think Philly rolls, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know about rolls. I mean, rolls is strong.
I think by 10.
Really? I mean, it depends on how Jalen Hurts plays. I mean, Jalen Hurts wasn't terrific.
True. Yeah.
And he's, you have the whole never been there before thing, and
I mean, yeah, you got him and what's his face, Devonta, what's his last name? Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. I don't think any one of them has ever been to the Super Bowl. So their core is rookie based anyway. So we'll see.
And hopefully, I'm hoping it's a good game. I think for Mahomes, he has to win this one. I think it's a big 1 and 2 Super Bowls.
Legacy wise, yeah. Probably.
Legacy wise. Well, that's all I care about. Everyone's talking about him like he's gonna be this. And he is a great player, but you can't go 1 and 2 in Super Bowls. But hey, you never know. So that's in a couple of weeks, and then of course you have the Phoenix Open. What a week in Arizona! The Phoenix
Dude, that
Open,
place is gonna burn down. That place is gonna burn down. Like, as soon as the Phoenix Open ends, the Super Bowl starts. Like, literally. Holy crap!
I don't know how close the course is to the stadium, but expect delays.
I think it's all in like a general area.
Yeah,
I think
it could be. I have no idea. But
not exactly walking distance, but I think it's pretty close.
Well, expect delays.
Oh yeah.
So
that's gonna be on our bucket list too. We got to go to the Phoenix Open.
Phoenix Open, yeah. Well,
oh yeah.
Maybe somewhere down the road we'll go to the Phoenix Open. We'll get media credentials for the Phoenix Open.
That'd be nice.
A media company from Rhode Island probably should be in Phoenix for the tournament, anyways.
We'll make it work.
But yeah. So that's going on in the sports world. Obviously not a ton going on in golf, but there are a handful of things that we discussed. And let's take a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We'll do some more other sports takes and thoughts. I know Rich is happy that the Bruins finally got back on the winning streak. And heartbreaker for PC basketball last night. So we'll get into some of that as well. And then we'll wrap this puppy up. This is the Golf Dudes podcast. Be right back. Billy Andre joins the show. Billy, thanks so much for doing this, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm very excited to be joined by an 11-time Emmy Award winner, and that is Armin Katayan.
Massachusetts Women's Amateur Champion Allison Paik.
The days of the country club just being golf and maybe one amenity are gone. Unfortunately, Metacomet doesn't have those.
He has a very rare condition called kyphoscoliotic Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And at the time of diagnosis, there was only 60 documented cases in the world.
When we legitimately played the last 4 holes at Newport National, you could not see 50 yards.
And welcome back to the Golf Dudes podcast presented by Links Drinks. Again, check out Links Drinks at liquor stores and country clubs near you. They're in about 20 clubs across the state, and they're in multiple states across the country. So wherever you are, wherever you're listening to this from, go to your local club or store and ask for Links Drinks. And so then thanks to Links Drinks for their support. We started the show talking about some of the scheduling issues for Ryan Golf and some of the conversation and things that have transpired over the last few days with regards to the tournament schedule. Really interesting situation, but unfortunate situation, obviously, as well, because right now there's numerous tournaments, men's tournaments specifically, and junior tournament that don't really have places to play at this very moment. Now, obviously, it's only February. People have, obviously, there's plenty of time to step up, but at least from the schedule that was released yesterday on Wednesday, it's a lot of blank spaces. So hopefully clubs step up and fill those gaps and host a tournament for a day or two, whatever it is. Thankfully, all the tournaments that are on there are not week-long things. The amateur is already filled. And so other than in the juniors, the junior one is the only one that's a week long, but there's only so many kids, and they're usually out of the way by noon, if even that late. So hopefully clubs step up and specifically clubs in Rhode Island step up and host tournaments, so they don't necessarily need to have the Rhode Island Open at Connecticut National again, because I just think that's just a bad look. But I mean, what are you going to do if other clubs aren't stepping up to host and they said they would host it? I mean, you gotta fill the gaps at some point. So, and Connecticut National is very nice. I've never been there. I hear it's very nice.
It's nice.
So credit to them. It's just not an ideal look for Rhode Island golfers, in my opinion. So there's that. So that's what we started most of the show with. Davis Chatfield is on the Korn Ferry Tour. We'll have there's a recap up from his day right now on golfnewsri.com. So check that out. It wasn't pretty. Hopefully has a big bounce back tomorrow on Friday down in Panama. We also spent some time talking about the PGA Tour at Pebble Beach, live golf getting started. How about this new rule that the PGA Tour just put in, I guess, that they can now ban non-members?
I saw that yesterday. Yeah.
Playing live, so now they can ban members, but now you
For a
can
year.
ban non-members.
Yeah.
So that seems kind of weird. I mean,
Yeah, you have to wait a year. So if you played in a
Right, ban it for
tournament
a year.
today, you have to
Right.
wait a year. Which I don't know. This is just getting stupid now.
Yeah.
It was interesting when it first broke, but now this is just getting dumb.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting annoying now because that was all in the court. I still think parts of it are still interesting. Phil Mickelson has been super active on Twitter recently, with all kinds of different stuff. I still think some parts of it are interesting, but generally speaking, it's kind of becoming more annoying now than anything else. And you kind of just want them just to, figure out a way for both tours to coexist. Let LIV do what LIV is doing, and the PGA Tour can do, what the PGA Tour does. And it looks like the majors are staying out of it, which is good.
They're going to have to learn to coexist. I mean, it's just the deal now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So that is, I know LIV starts in a couple of weeks down at Mayakoba, and the PGA Tour is at Pebble Beach this week for the AT&T Pro-Am, and then they're in the big Phoenix Open next week with the stadium hole. I'm sure there'll be hole-in-ones maybe. So that was always a fun tournament to watch for sure, and they always have a decent field. So, and what a win for Max Homa last week.
He's an absolute stud now. He's in the stud realm now.
Yeah, for sure. So
did you see he won $1.5 million, then went to a Skins game the next day and won $400.
Yeah. I saw that. Somebody tweeted Monday Q Info tweeted that out.
Such a boss move.
I hope he donated the $400. I don't think he needed.
I would assume he did, right?
I don't know. You never know. You never know. But yeah, so pretty funny. So good for him. He seems like a cool guy. I know I watched him on 4Plays in their match that they had. He was pretty funny. And I thought his interview he gave when they had him mic'd up during the round was kind of cool.
They played Bob Does Sports too.
Yeah. So
he missed shooting a 59 by I think a putt. He missed one putt.
Oh well.
But yeah, I like that. I like having the AirPod in the ear when they're walking and stuff like that. I think that's one good thing that what was that? Was that CBS or was it the PGA in general?
CBS.
Yeah. That was very good. They definitely need to do that more.
Yeah, well, John Rahm said on the most recent episode of Foreplay that they asked him to do it next week. But he said he's not sure if he wants to do it. But we'll see. But I think it's good. I think it's good to get into the minds of some of these guys and see what they're kind of thinking. And obviously you have to be careful because again, they're playing for something and they're trying to win. So obviously there's a line that CBS I'm sure is aware of. But I thought what they did with Homo was kind of cool. I felt bad because the next day they had Sam Ryder's mother and Amanda Balionis there was interviewing Sam Ryder's mother. Ryder, of course, was leading the tournament. And so she's interviewing the mother, like walking down the fairway. And then Ryder ends up like crapping his pants and losing. So that was, it was a nice interview. Like, I don't know, but it was the final result didn't pan out to what his mother was hoping for, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, anyways, other things, you happy with the Bruins win over the Maple Leafs? Now they go on All-Star break. The Rangers.
Yeah, it's going to be a good nice break for us instead of harping on a 4-game losing streak. I didn't expect them to come out like that. So it was nice. I definitely expected them to crap their pants again, but yeah, it was good. Hell of a start to the hell of an end to the first half. Now we just got to get DeBrusque back, which I can't believe I would have never said in my entire life. But yeah, we get him back healthy. I think he's supposed to start to skate this weekend, so that's going to be good. And that's pretty much all I got. Well, I got PC hockey sucks, so I got PC basketball to look forward to. That's about that.
Heartbreaker last night for PC basketball. I thought Bynum was going to make that shot.
It was down, dude. It was down, and it just kicked back. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. People were saying on Twitter that they should have just played for the tie, but you're in overtime. You might as well go. You're on overtime on the road.
May as well throw the dagger, right?
You have a shot. You got a legit shot off to win it. I don't really have.
Like you said, the play to get him open was fantastic.
Yeah, and he thought he made the shot. But tough loss, but they'll be all right. They have 8 games left. 5 of them are at home, and one of the road games is at Georgetown, which doesn't even count. There'll be more PC fans there than Georgetown. That's not saying much.
No,
Georgetown basically been playing in an empty arena for most of the season because no one goes to the games.
Because they play at Madison Square Garden, right?
Georgetown?
Yeah.
No, they're in Washington. They're in DC.
Oh, DC, that's right. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I was thinking of St. John's.
Yeah, St. John's sometimes plays at Madison Square Garden.
That's what I was thinking of St. John's. I'm an idiot.
No, I think unfortunately, PC plays St. John's at Carnesecca Arena, which is a tough place to play. Once in a while they've played them at Madison Square Garden, and Cooley's always used that as like a test run for the biggest tournament to get
for the tournament.
Playing at the Garden, playing on the floor, the bright lights, whatever. But unfortunately, the last couple of years they've been playing at Carnesecca Arena, which is a crappy little gym, but it's a tough place to play.
Oh, speaking of, I'm on Golf Galaxy, and I just saw pickleball. So apparently we're doing pickleball.
Everybody's into the pickleball thing.
we're doing pickleball at the King this summer. So I don't
Yeah,
know where,
I
how.
saw they posted a picture.
I'm assuming he's going to clean up the tennis courts behind 5. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. And yeah, I got the email last week. So
Yeah, they posted something on Instagram. So while we're
Yeah.
teeing off on 5, then we have people playing pickleball behind us, screaming and yelling and causing a ruckus.
I guess. I don't know.
That'll go over well.
I may have to pick up pickleball this summer.
It'd be a way to get in shape, I hear. I mean,
No shit, right?
Not that I have any experience, but I guess that'd be a way to get in shape, I guess. If you
Yeah.
want to.
So,
call Larry Fitzgerald. He'll kick your ass.
Yep. But yeah, so that's gonna be interesting to see what he how he does that. What he does, if it's just gonna be, go there and play, or he's gonna have tournaments or something like that. So it's gonna
Well,
be
it probably depends on the interest level, right? I mean, it probably depends on how
Yeah.
much interest there is, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That's number one. But yeah. So yeah, well, if you don't have anything else, we can get the show on the road, let the people get back to their livelihoods. And yeah, so a couple of quick things. Obviously, we have the Chatfield recap up on golfnewsri.com. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to the Golf News podcast on the Golf News RI podcast network, which is of course sponsored by our friends at Vintage Cigar Lounge. And we're super excited for the season to get started, because we're going to do Cigar of the Week every week, a little video segment, like a minute long-ish. So they're really excited for that. They're excited to work with us, and we thank them for supporting Golf News RI, and for also supporting the Expand Your Brand podcast, which streamed on Wednesdays on the Golf News RI podcast network. Had a really great episode yesterday with Mike Hamilton. Really cool conversation. They smoked some good cigars. Hamilton told a cool Tom Brady story that he has from the U.S. Amateur, and they talked about everything from golf to PC basketball and everything else in between. So really good stuff. I'm really a huge fan of that podcast. I think Jeff and Austin really are onto something with it. So I'm hoping they invite me as a guest one of these days. But we'll see. But anyway.
I'll definitely be on. I like to smoke cigars, so
so check out the Expand Your Brand podcast. Again, I'm a huge fan of it. The first episode, they had a guy who owns I can't think of his name, Dinwiddie, who owns a veterinarian clinic, and he also plays golf. He's also the wrestling coach at Westerly High School. So the point of it is to expand people's brands and show that they're more than what they are, whatever in their life. So huge fan of it, but it's doing really well, and super good job by Jeff and Austin putting that together, and we're happy to have it on our network. So that's great. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll have you covered throughout the weekend with other news that happens, whether it's professional or amateur or somewhere in between. And I know the dog days of winter, so people are still playing golf. College golf is starting. We have a handful of guys going down to Florida playing the Gasparilla Invitational, including Mike Hamilton. So we'll be following that. That's still a few weeks away, but we have that covered as well. So anyway, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Hope you'll have a great rest weekend. Thanks to all the support and everyone that follows us on golfnewsri.com and on social media platforms. And we will talk to you next week. Have a great weekend.